Stop everything and check your pocket change right now because a 1972 1-cent USA coin has reportedly reached as high as $38 million at auction. And before you dismiss that as impossible, I want you to grab any 1972 penny you can find and look closely for 4 critical things. First, confirm the date reads 1972. Second, check the mint mark under the date, which could be no mint mark for Philadelphia, a small D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. Third, examine the lettering on the front, especially Liberty and I in God We Trust for strong, clear doubling that looks like 2 distinct impressions rather than blurry shadows. And fourth, if you have a precise scale, check the weight, which should be about 3.11 grams for the standard copper composition used that year, made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Because these details determine whether you are holding an ordinary 1-cent coin or something dramatically more valuable. And I am speaking directly to American retirees, seniors living on fixed incomes, long-time collectors who have quietly stored rolls of pennies for decades, and families who have jars of old coins tucked away in closets and garages, because this is exactly the kind of overlooked household item that has changed lives when properly identified. So before we go any further, pause this video, get your 1972 penny, place it under a bright light or near a window. Use a magnifying glass if you have one, and compare it to this simple checklist. 1972 date. Clearly visible, check mint mark position under the date. Inspect for strong doubled die characteristics, especially bold separation on Liberty and I in God We Trust. Confirm copper color and standard weight around 3.11 grams. Examine the condition for sharp details in Lincoln's hair and coat. And absolutely do not clean the coin, because cleaning can destroy a large portion of its value instantly. Now let's ground this in reality, because most 1972 pennies in circulation are worth exactly 1 cent. And nothing more. Billions were produced across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and the overwhelming majority are common, heavily circulated coins that have scratches, dull surfaces, and wear across Lincoln's cheek and jawline. Those are typically worth face value or perhaps 2 to 5 cents to someone filling a coin album. Lightly circulated examples with more detail remaining in the hair and wheat-like luster might bring a few cents more, maybe 10 to 25 cents depending on eye appeal, and uncirculated examples that were saved in rolls and never spent, showing full original mint red color with no wear, can range from a few dollars up to perhaps $20 or $30 in very high grades. Especially certified mint state examples graded MS65 or above by respected services like PCGS or NGC. But here is where the story changes and why you must carefully examine the lettering, because in 1972 at the Philadelphia Mint a doubled die of verse variety was accidentally created during the hubbing process, when the die that strikes the coin received a misaligned second impression from the hub, causing strong, dramatic doubling that is visible to the naked eye. This is not machine doubling, which looks flat and shelf-like. This is true double die doubling with clear separation and rounded secondary images, most noticeable on Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date itself. And coins struck from that die became one of the most famous double die varieties in modern U.S. coinage. Many examples have sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on condition, and the finest known examples have reached extraordinary prices at major auctions, especially when preserved in pristine mint state red condition. And while headlines about $38 million represent an extreme, headline-grabbing figure often tied to unique circumstances such as experimental strikes, extraordinary provenance, or hypothetical valuations tied to elite registry competition, the key message for you at home is that only a tiny fraction of 1972 pennies carry the specific verified characteristics required to reach life-changing sums. And that is why you must focus on the checklist rather than the hype. Look closely at Liberty, because on a genuine 1972 doubled die obverse you will see strong separation, particularly on the letters L, I, B, and E, with noticeable spacing between the doubled impressions. The motto I in God We Trust will also show distinct doubling, especially on I and God, and the date 1972 may display split serifs and clear doubling on the 7 and 2. If the doubling looks flat, smeared, or only visible on one side of the letters, it is likely machine doubling, which adds little to no premium, and confusion between these two types of doubling is one of the biggest reasons people believe they have a fortune when in fact they have a common coin. So slow down and compare carefully. Use reputable online resources from major grading companies rather than random social media posts. And remember that post-mint damage such as hits, scratches, corrosion, or environmental discoloration does not increase value and often reduces it significantly, especially if someone attempted to clean the coin with chemicals or abrasives, which leaves unnatural shine and hairline scratches that professional graders immediately detect. For retirees and seniors, this matters deeply because financial security in retirement often depends on protecting assets and avoiding costly mistakes. A coin that might have been worth several $1,000s in original condition can drop dramatically in value if cleaned improperly. And for families inheriting collections from parents or grandparents, it is critical to handle old coins gently by the edges and store them in non-PVC holders to prevent long-term damage. Now let's talk about mint marks, because 1972 pennies were produced at 3 mints. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, Denver coins have a small d, and San Francisco coins may have an S and can be either proof coins struck for collectors or regular circulation strikes depending on the finish. The famous doubled die obverse variety is associated with the Philadelphia mint, meaning there is no mint mark beneath the date. So if your coin has a D or an S, it is not the major doubled die variety that collectors chase for the highest premiums. Although high-grade examples from those mints can still hold modest collector value, proof coins from San Francisco have mirror-like fields and frosted devices and were sold in sets, and while beautiful, they are generally worth modest premiums unless they possess a significant error or exceptional grade. As we move up the value ladder, imagine 3 broad categories. First, ordinary circulated coins worth face value. Second, uncirculated or high-grade coins worth tens of dollars. Third, verified doubled die or major error coins worth hundreds to thousands, or in extremely rare top population examples. Much more, and then at the very top, an extraordinary outlier example that achieves a record-setting auction price due to perfect preservation, intense collector competition, and historical significance. And this is where stories of multi-million-dollar results capture headlines and spark nationwide treasure hunts. But I must emphasize again that such outcomes represent a microscopic percentage of surviving coins. Rarity is a combination of low surviving population and high demand and condition. Rarity plays a massive role because collectors building registry sets compete fiercely for the single finest graded example known, sometimes pushing prices into astonishing territory. And this competitive dynamic is part of what fuels eye-popping auction results. So when you examine your 1972 penny, do not just ask, is it doubled? Also ask, what is the condition? Are Lincoln's cheek and jaw free of wear? Do you see full luster cartwheeling under light? Are the fields free of distracting marks? Is the color original red rather than brown or spotted? Because grading from MS60 to MS67 or higher can multiply value dramatically, and professional certification provides confidence to buyers and sellers alike. Now let's step back into history, because 1972 was a time of economic change in America. Inflation pressures were building, the nation was navigating post-1960s transitions, and the U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins to meet commerce demands. The Lincoln cent still used a long-standing bronze composition of 95% copper, a formula that would change a decade later in 1982 when copper prices forced a shift to copper-plated zinc. So 1972 pennies are solid bronze weighing about 3.11 grams. And that weight can help you rule out counterfeits or altered pieces, although counterfeit cents are less common than counterfeit silver or gold coins. High-value varieties can attract deceptive attempts, so if you believe you have a strong doubled die example, consider professional authentication before making any public claims or sales arrangements. And be cautious of online buyers promising unrealistic sums without third-party grading. Scams often target seniors with promises of immediate cash. So protect yourself by dealing only with established auction houses or reputable coin dealers affiliated with recognized numismatic organizations. Think about what even a few $1,000s could mean in retirement: covering medical expenses, easing prescription costs, repairing a roof, helping a grandchild with tuition, or simply providing peace of mind. Coins are small objects, but they carry stories and sometimes unexpected financial impact. And for families sorting through estates, this is especially relevant because jars of pennies that seem insignificant may contain a scarce variety overlooked for decades, so I encourage you to make this a family moment. Gather your children or grandchildren, spread the coins out on a table, use magnification, and walk through the checklist again. 1972 date. No mint mark for the major doubled die. Strong rounded doubling on Liberty and I In God We Trust. Copper composition around 3.11 grams. Sharp details and original surfaces. No cleaning, no harsh scratches. And if you are unsure, compare your coin to certified images from trusted grading services rather than relying on dramatic social media thumbnails claiming every 1972 penny is worth millions, because misinformation spreads quickly and disappointment follows when expectations are unrealistic. Education is your strongest tool in this search, and knowledge protects both your finances and your time. Collectors compete for top-grade pieces because population reports show how many examples exist at each grade level, and sometimes there may be only a handful graded at the very top, creating intense demand among registry set participants who want the single best-known specimen. This competitive pressure can elevate prices beyond what casual observers expect, but it only applies to coins that meet strict criteria verified by experts, and that is why condition, authenticity, and variety attribution are everything. I want you to feel excitement, but grounded excitement, curiosity supported by facts, hope balanced with realism, because while most 1972 pennies will remain ordinary, a small number absolutely command significant premiums and have changed hands for remarkable amounts. And even if your coin turns out to be common, you have gained knowledge that empowers you to evaluate other dates and varieties in your collection. Smart collecting habits include storing coins in stable environments away from humidity, avoiding PVC plastics that cause green residue, labeling varieties accurately, and keeping any original mint packaging for proof sets. And if you ever decide to sell, consult multiple sources for pricing, including recent auction results rather than outdated price guides. Markets fluctuate, and actual realized prices tell the true story. As we near the end, I want you to once again pick up that 1972 penny and repeat the checklist slowly. Confirm the year 1972. Look beneath the date for no mint mark if you are hunting the major doubled die. Inspect Liberty and I In God We Trust for bold, clear doubling, not flat machine doubling. Check the copper color and approximate 3.11 gram weight. Evaluate the sharpness of details and presence of original mint luster. Ensure the coin has not been cleaned or damaged, and if it appears promising, consider professional grading for authentication and encapsulation. Share this information with your parents and grandparents who may have stored coins from the early 1970s. Talk with friends at church or community centers, because awareness is what turns overlooked change into discovered value. And whether the top reported figure of $38 million represents an extraordinary outlier fueled by unique circumstances or intense collector rivalry, the underlying truth remains that knowledge can unlock hidden potential in everyday objects. So do not underestimate the power of a single penny. Double-check your jars, revisit old piggy banks, open those long-forgotten drawers. And if you found this guidance helpful like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into hidden American coin treasures, and leave a comment telling us what you discovered in your own search, because your next coin could be the story that inspires someone else to look twice before spending a piece of history that might just secure a little more comfort and confidence in retirement. Next, 1980 Lincoln cent. Check every 1981 cent coin in your home, because there are claims that a rare 1980 penny has reached as high as $33 million at auction. And before you scroll away or assume that sounds impossible, I want you to grab any 1980 Lincoln cent you can find and carefully examine it using this exact checklist. Confirm the date reads 1980. Look directly under the date for a mint mark, which may be no mint mark for Philadelphia, a small D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. Inspect the lettering on the front, especially Liberty and I In God We Trust, for any strong doubling that shows clear separation rather than flat shelf-like shadows. Check the overall color, because in 1980 the cent was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc with a total weight of about 3.11 grams. Examine the surfaces for original mint luster that shines in a cartwheel effect under light. And most importantly, do not clean the coin under any circumstances because even a gentle wipe can permanently reduce collector value, and I am speaking directly to American retirees, seniors living on fixed incomes, long-time collectors who saved rolls from the bank decades ago, and families who may have jars of pennies sitting in closets since the 1980s, because this is exactly how hidden value remains unnoticed for years. So pause for a moment. Place your 1980 penny under a bright lamp or sunlight, use a magnifying glass if you have one, and compare it carefully to this list before we go any further, because understanding what to look for is far more important than chasing headlines about extreme auction numbers. Now let us ground this discussion in reality, because the overwhelming majority of 1980 1-cent coins are common and worth exactly 1 cent in circulated condition. Billions were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints to meet everyday commerce demand. And large quantities were also produced as proof coins at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. So if your coin shows heavy wear on Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and coat, dull brown color, scratches, or corrosion from years in circulation, it is most likely worth face value or just a few cents to someone filling a coin album. Lightly circulated examples with more visible detail and some remaining luster might sell for a few cents to perhaps a quarter, depending on eye appeal. And uncirculated coins that were saved in rolls and never spent, still showing bright original red copper color, can range from a few dollars up to perhaps $20 or $30 in high mint state grades such as MS-65 or MS-66 certified by respected grading services. But the reason stories circulate about extraordinary prices is because within the massive production of 1980 cents there exists rare high-grade condition rarities and specific era varieties that command significant premiums. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity is often driven not just by how many were made but by how few survived in pristine condition or with dramatic mint errors that collectors compete fiercely to own. So here is what you must look for on a potentially valuable 1980 cent, starting with mint marks because location matters. Coins with no mint mark were struck in Philadelphia, coins with AD were struck in Denver, and coins with an S were struck in San Francisco, either as proof coins with mirror-like fields or in some cases special finishes. And while there is no widely recognized regular issue 1980 cent worth millions under normal circumstances, certain era coins such as dramatic off-center strikes, broad strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchet errors, and strong double die varieties can reach impressive auction results, especially in top condition. And the most commonly misunderstood feature is doubling, because many people confuse machine doubling with true double die doubling. Machine doubling occurs during the strike when the die slightly shifts and creates a flat shelf like secondary image that reduces metal rather than creating rounded separation. This type of doubling adds little to no premium. But a true doubled die is created during the hubbing process, when the die receives misaligned impressions from the hub and transfers that strong clear doubling onto every coin it strikes. And on a genuine doubled die you will see rounded, distinct separation, particularly on letters such as Liberty and the motto "I in God We Trust," sometimes also on the date itself. So examine the 1980 carefully for split serifs or noticeable spacing. Use magnification and compare with verified examples from professional grading company websites rather than relying on exaggerated social media posts. Because misinformation spreads quickly and many people mistakenly believe any slight distortion is worth a fortune. Now let us talk about composition and weight, because in 1980 the cent was still the traditional bronze alloy weighing about 3.11 grams. This changed in mid-1982, when the mint switched to copper-plated zinc weighing about 2.5 grams. So if your 1980 penny weighs significantly less than 3.11 grams, it could indicate damage, corrosion, or a rare wrong planchet error where the coin was struck on an incorrect metal blank. And wrong planchet errors are among the types of mistakes that can bring substantial premiums depending on the metal involved and overall condition. But such pieces must be authenticated by a reputable third-party grading service, because counterfeits and altered coins exist, and whenever large sums of money are mentioned, scammers appear, especially targeting seniors who may be excited about a potential windfall. So protect yourself by never mailing a coin to an unknown buyer without insurance and verification, and never accept claims that you must pay large upfront fees to unlock supposed value. Instead, consult established auction houses or certified coin dealers affiliated with recognized numismatic associations. Now let us build a realistic value ladder so you understand where your coin might fall. At the bottom are heavily circulated brown examples worth face value. Next are lightly circulated coins with modest premiums of a few cents. Then come uncirculated red coins graded MS63 to MS65 that might sell for several dollars to perhaps a few dozen dollars depending on demand. Above that are superb gem examples graded MS67 or higher, which are scarce because copper spots, contact marks, and storage issues often prevent coins from achieving such lofty grades. And in registry set competition, where collectors strive to assemble the highest graded set of Lincoln cents, a single population top coin can bring astonishing sums because two determined bidders may push the price far beyond typical expectations, and this phenomenon is part of how extraordinary auction headlines are created. Finally, at the very top are dramatic mint-era coins or unique condition rarities that combine flawless preservation with strong collector demand. And while a figure like $33 million represents an extreme outlier likely tied to extraordinary circumstances such as unique provenance, intense bidding rivalry, or hypothetical valuation narratives, it is crucial to understand that only a microscopic fraction of coins would ever approach such territory. And maintaining realistic expectations protects you from disappointment, while still allowing room for genuine discovery. Now consider the historical context of 1980, because America was experiencing high inflation, economic uncertainty, and rising metal prices. Copper values were climbing, which would soon force the mint to reconsider the composition of the cent. Billions of coins were struck to support commerce in a growing economy, and quality control challenges occasionally allowed errors to slip through. These accidental varieties are what collectors study and catalog, and over time, as coins are spent, lost, melted, or damaged, the surviving population of high-grade examples shrinks. Increasing competition among advanced collectors. This is especially meaningful for retirees and long-time savers because a roll of 1980 pennies tucked away in a drawer might contain bright red uncirculated coins that today are far scarcer in pristine condition than when originally issued, and condition is everything in modern coinage. Look at Lincoln's hair above the ear, the bow tie, the jawline, and the fields in front of his face. Are they free of nicks and spots? Does the coin retain full blazing red color without turning brown? Because copper is reactive, and over decades even minor environmental exposure can change its appearance. Proof coins from San Francisco will have mirror-like backgrounds and frosted raised devices. And while most proof 1980 cents are common and worth modest amounts, a proof with a deep cameo contrast and flawless surfaces can bring higher premiums, especially if graded PR69 or PR70 by a respected service. And once again, cleaning destroys proof surfaces instantly, leaving hairlines that graders can detect under magnification. So resist any urge to polish or brighten a coin because originality is prized above shine. Think about what even a few $1,000s could mean for a senior household, covering unexpected medical bills, replacing essential appliances, easing property tax burdens, or helping grandchildren with education expenses. Coins may seem small, but they represent tangible history and sometimes overlooked opportunity. And beyond money, there is something powerful about examining objects that passed through American hands during a different era. 1980 feels recent to some and distant to others, but the cent design still carried the Lincoln Memorial reverse introduced in 1959. Symbolizing national continuity, and for families sorting through estates, these coins are often discovered in coffee cans, dresser drawers, and safe deposit boxes, so make this a careful family project. Spread the coins out on a soft cloth, handle them by the edges, review the checklist again slowly, confirm the date 1980, check for mint mark placement, inspect for true double die characteristics with rounded separation, not flat machine doubling. Weigh the coin if possible around 3.11 grams, evaluate color and luster, and ensure there is no evidence of cleaning or post-mint damage such as gouges or foul marks that sometimes result from attempts to create fake errors. Because altered coins are common and trained graders look for signs of tampering, including tool marks and unnatural distortions. If your coin appears unusual, compare it with documented error references and consider professional authentication before making any public claim. And remember that social media headlines often exaggerate isolated results without context, creating the illusion that every similar coin shares the same value when in fact only a specific certified example achieved that price under unique competitive conditions. Education is your strongest defense against hype and your best ally in identifying genuine opportunity. Smart collecting habits include storing coins in inert holders free from PVC, keeping them in stable temperature environments, avoiding excessive handling, and maintaining documentation if coins are certified. If you ever choose to sell, consult multiple recent auction results rather than relying on outdated price lists because the market fluctuates based on supply and demand. As we come toward the end, I want you to pick up that 1980 penny one more time and repeat the checklist in your mind. Is the date clear and correct? What mint mark is present or absent? Do you see any strong rounded doubling on Liberty or I in God We Trust? Does the coin weigh approximately 3.11 grams, indicating correct bronze composition? Is the surface original and free from cleaning? Is the condition unusually high with strong luster and minimal marks? And if something truly stands out, seek professional evaluation rather than quick cash offers. Share this information with your parents, grandparents, neighbors, and friends because awareness is how hidden treasures are found. Whether the ultimate auction headline of $33 million represents a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly or an extreme case of collector rivalry, the deeper lesson is that knowledge turns ordinary pocket change into a field of possibility. So double-check your jars, revisit old bank rolls, search through inherited collections. And if this helps you see your coins with new understanding like this video, subscribe for more insights into hidden American coin treasures. And leave a comment about what you discovered because your careful inspection today might inspire someone else to look twice before spending a small copper coin that could hold far more significance than its humble 1-cent face value. Next, 1964 Lincoln penny. Stop what you are doing right now and check every 1964 1-cent coin in your home because there are claims that a rare 1964 Lincoln penny has reached as high as $46 million at auction. And before you assume that sounds exaggerated, I want you to grab any 1964 cent you can find and carefully inspect it using this exact checklist so you can immediately separate an ordinary coin from a potentially valuable one. First, confirm the date clearly reads 1964. Second, look directly under the date for the mint mark, which in 1964 will either be no mint mark for Philadelphia or a small D for Denver because regular circulation cents were not struck in San Francisco that year. Third, examine the front of the coin, especially the words Liberty and I in God We Trust for strong, clear double die characteristics with rounded separation rather than flat shelf-like machine doubling. Fourth, check the overall color and metal because in 1964 the cent was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and should weigh approximately 3.11 grams. Fifth, evaluate the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, ear, bow tie, and jawline for wear. And sixth, make absolutely certain the coin has not been cleaned, polished, or damaged because cleaning can permanently destroy most of its collector value. And I am speaking directly to American retirees, seniors living on fixed incomes, long-time savers who remember the 1960s firsthand, and families who may have jars of old pennies stored away for decades because 1964 coins are extremely common in circulation, but certain rare varieties and extraordinary high-grade examples can command serious money. So before we go any further, pause for a moment. Place your 1964 penny under bright light. Use a magnifying glass if possible. And compare it point by point with that checklist because understanding the details is the difference between hype and real opportunity. Now let us establish reality clearly and responsibly because the overwhelming majority of 1964 1-cent coins are worth exactly 1 cent in circulated condition. Billions were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints during a time when the United States was facing a nationwide coin shortage. The mint was producing coins at an intense pace to keep commerce moving. And as a result, 1964 Lincoln cents are among the most commonly encountered coins in pocket change and coin jars across America. Heavily circulated examples with brown color, worn details, scratches, and Environmental damage typically carry no premium beyond face value. Lightly circulated coins with moderate wear and some remaining detail might be worth a few cents to perhaps a dime to someone filling a coin album, and uncirculated coins that were saved in rolls and never spent, still showing bright original red luster, can range from a few dollars to perhaps $20 or $30 depending on grade and eye appeal. But the reason headlines sometimes mention astonishing numbers like $46 million is because of extremely rare circumstances involving unique mint errors, experimental pieces, or the absolute finest known examples competing in elite registry sets where collectors battle fiercely for the single highest graded specimen, and in numismatics value is driven by rarity, demand, condition, and authentication. So let us go deeper into what you should actually look for on a 1964 cent, starting with mint marks because Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark under the date, while Denver coins display a small d, and while both mints produced enormous quantities, certain varieties are scarcer than others. One of the most talked about features in Lincoln cent collecting is double die varieties, which occur during the die creation process when the working die receives multiple misaligned impressions from the hub, creating strong visible doubling on every coin struck from that die. And on a genuine double die you will see rounded, clearly separated doubling. Especially on Liberty and I in God We Trust, sometimes also on the date itself, the letters may appear split with distinct edges rather than flat shadows, and this is very different from machine doubling which happens during the strike when the die shifts slightly and creates a flat, shelf-like secondary image that actually reduces metal and adds little to no value. So use magnification and compare your coin to verified images from reputable grading services rather than relying on viral social media posts that claim every blurry letter is worth millions, because confusion between machine doubling and true double die errors is one of the biggest reasons people mistakenly believe they have a fortune in their hands. Next, consider major mint errors such as off-center strikes where part of the design is missing due to misalignment during striking, broad strikes where the coin spreads beyond its normal diameter without the collar, clipped planchets where a portion of the blank was missing before striking, double strikes where the coin was struck more than once in misaligned positions, and wrong planchet errors where a cent design was struck on a blank intended for another denomination. These types of dramatic and visually obvious errors can command substantial premiums depending on severity and condition. But they must be authenticated by a respected third-party grading service because altered coins exist and unscrupulous individuals sometimes attempt to create fake errors by cutting, grinding, or manipulating ordinary coins, and this is especially important for seniors and retirees who may be targeted by scammers promising immediate large payouts in exchange for upfront fees or quick private sales. Always protect yourself by consulting established coin dealers affiliated with professional numismatic organizations or by submitting the coin to a reputable grading company such as PCGS or NGC for evaluation. Now let us talk about composition and weight because 1964 cents were struck in the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc with a standard weight of approximately 3.11 grams. If your coin weighs significantly more or less, it could indicate damage, heavy corrosion, or in extremely rare cases a wrong planchet error. But you must use a precise digital scale capable of measuring to at least 2 decimal places and account for minor tolerance variations. Copper cents from this era are heavier than the copper-plated zinc cents introduced in 1982, so weight is one of the simplest ways to confirm authenticity of metal type. Now let us build a realistic value ladder so you can place your coin in context. At the base are warm brown circulated examples worth 1 cent. Above that are lightly circulated coins worth only a small premium. Next are uncirculated red coins in mint state grades such as MS-63 or MS-64 worth several dollars. Then higher grade gems like MS-65 or MS-66 that may reach higher double-digit values depending on eye appeal. Above that are superb gem examples graded MS-67 or higher, which are much scarcer because contact marks, spotting, and improper storage often prevent coins from achieving such lofty grades, and when population reports show only a handful of coins certified at the very top grade level. Registry set collectors who compete for the finest possible Lincoln cent collection may drive prices dramatically higher through aggressive bidding at auction, and this intense competition is often What produces eye-catching headlines about extraordinary sums? Finally, at the absolute pinnacle are unique, or nearly unique mint errors or condition rarities with impeccable provenance. And while a figure like $46 million represents an extreme outlier scenario likely tied to a singular coin with extraordinary characteristics and bidding rivalry, it is essential to understand that such results do not apply to ordinary 1964 cents found in circulation. Maintaining realistic expectations protects you from disappointment, while still allowing for genuine excitement if you discover something truly special. Now consider the historical context of 1964 because America was in the midst of significant change. The nation was grieving the loss of President John F. Kennedy the previous year. The mint was overwhelmed with demand for coins, leading to massive production numbers, and hoarding behavior during the coin shortage meant that many 1964 coins were saved in rolls, which is why uncirculated examples are still available today, though truly superb gems are far scarcer than raw mintage numbers might suggest. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design had been in use since 1959, replacing the wheat ears, and collectors at the time were actively searching for varieties including small date and large date differences on other denominations, fueling a culture of coin checking that continues today. For retirees and families, this matters because coins saved decades ago may still sit untouched in drawers, and while most will be common, a careful search using knowledge and patience can occasionally reveal a scarce variety or high-grade gem worth meaningful money. Imagine what even a few $1,000s could mean in retirement, covering medical bills, easing prescription costs, repairing essential home systems, helping grandchildren with education, or simply providing peace of mind during uncertain economic times. Coins are tangible pieces of American history that sometimes carry unexpected financial support. And beyond money, they connect generations because a penny from 1964 may have passed through countless hands during a pivotal era in American life. So make this a thoughtful family project. Spread the coins on a soft cloth, handle them only by the edges to avoid fingerprints, review the checklist again carefully, confirm the date 1964, identify whether there is a D mint mark or no mint mark, inspect Liberty and I in God we trust for strong rounded double die separation rather than flat machine doubling, weigh the coin around 3.11 grams if possible. Examine color and luster for original red surfaces, and verify that the coin has not been cleaned or altered. If something appears unusual, compare it with documented examples from reliable numismatic references and consider professional authentication before making any claims or sales decisions. Avoid online buyers who promise unrealistic sums without third-party grading because scams often target excitement and urgency. And remember that true value is established through verified auction results, not viral posts. Smart collecting habits include storing coins in inert holders free from PVC, keeping them in stable, low humidity environments, labeling any identified varieties accurately, and maintaining documentation if coins are certified. If you decide to sell, consult multiple recent auction records because markets fluctuate and actual realized prices provide the clearest picture of demand. As we come toward the end of this discussion, I want you to pick up that 1964 penny one more time and slowly repeat the checklist in your mind. Is the date correct and clear? What mint mark is present or absent? Do you see any strong true double die characteristics with rounded separation? Does the coin weigh approximately 3.11 grams, confirming bronze composition? Is the condition unusually high with full luster and minimal marks? Has it remained untouched by cleaning or damage? And if it truly stands out, seek professional evaluation from a reputable grading service. Share this knowledge with your parents, grandparents, neighbors, and friends because awareness is how hidden household assets are discovered. Whether the reported $46 million figure reflects a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly fueled by extraordinary competition or unique mint error status, the deeper lesson is that knowledge transforms ordinary pocket change into a field of informed possibility. So double-check your jars, revisit old coffee cans filled with coins from the 1960s, examine inherited collections with fresh understanding. And if this guidance helped you see your 1964 pennies in a new light like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into hidden American coin treasures. And leave a comment sharing what you found, because your careful inspection today might inspire someone else to look twice before spending a small copper coin that could carry far more history and potential than its humble 1 cent face value suggests. Next, 1961D 1 cent coin. Stop and pull out every 1961D 1 cent coin you can find right now, because there are claims that a rare 1961D Lincoln penny has reached as high as $48 million at auction. And before you assume that sounds impossible, I want you to immediately check 6 critical details on your coin so you can separate an ordinary cent from a potentially valuable rarity. First, confirm the date reads 1961. Second, look directly under the date for the small D mint mark, indicating it was struck in Denver. Third, carefully inspect the words Liberty and I in God We Trust for strong, rounded double die characteristics rather than flat, shelf-like machine doubling. Fourth, examine the reverse wheat ears design, because 1961 still featured the classic wheat cent reverse and sharp grain lines and lettering matter for grade. Fifth, confirm the metal composition, which in 1961 was 95% copper and 5% zinc with an approximate weight of 3.11 grams. And sixth, evaluate the overall condition, including original mint luster, surface preservation, and whether the coin has been cleaned or damaged, because cleaning even once can dramatically reduce collector value, and I am speaking directly to American retirees, seniors on fixed incomes, longtime collectors who saved rolls from the early 1960s, and families who may have inherited jars of wheat pennies stored away for decades, because coins like the 1961D are incredibly common in circulation, yet within that massive mintage there can exist rare high-grade condition rarities and significant mint-era varieties that command astonishing premiums under the right circumstances. So before we go any further, pause for a moment. Place your 1961D penny under bright light, preferably natural sunlight or a strong desk lamp. Use a magnifying glass if you have one, and compare it carefully to this checklist. Confirm the 1961 date. Confirm the D mint mark beneath the date. Inspect Liberty and I in God We Trust for bold rounded doubling with visible separation. Check that the reverse wheat ears show sharp detail lines. Weigh the coin if possible close to 3.11 grams, and make absolutely certain the surfaces are original and not polished or scratched from cleaning, because knowledge and careful observation are far more powerful than viral headlines. Now let us establish reality clearly, because the overwhelming majority of 1961D 1 cent coins are worth only face value in circulated condition. The Denver Mint struck well over $1 billion that year as the American economy expanded and commerce required massive quantities of small change. These coins were used daily in grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and countless ordinary transactions, so heavily worn brown examples with flattened wheat lines, dull surfaces, and scratches typically carry no premium at all. Lightly circulated pieces with moderate wear may sell for just a few cents above face value to someone filling a coin album, and even many uncirculated coins that were saved in rolls might only bring modest sums such as a few dollars depending on their grade and eye appeal. So where do the extraordinary price claims come from? In numismatics, value is driven by rarity, demand, condition, and authentication. And sometimes a coin becomes valuable not because it is rare in overall mintage, but because it is rare in exceptional condition, or because it displays a dramatic mint error that slipped past quality control. And when two determined collectors compete for the single finest certified example known, auction results can climb to extraordinary levels, especially in registry set competition where collectors strive to assemble the highest graded Lincoln cent sets ever recorded. And population reports from major grading services such as PCGS and NGC track how many coins have been certified at each grade level. So if only 1 or 2 coins exist at the absolute top grade, intense bidding rivalry can create eye-catching numbers that circulate in headlines. But it is essential to understand that such results apply only to that specific certified coin with verified characteristics, and not to the average 1961D cent found in pocket change. Now let us talk about what makes the 1961D interesting to collectors. First, it is part of the wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958 on the reverse, and then transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. Correction here is important because 1961 actually features the Lincoln Memorial reverse not wheat ears. So if you are holding a 1961D, you should see the Lincoln Memorial building on the back, not wheat stalks. And that detail alone shows why careful observation matters. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait designed by Victor David Brenner with Liberty to the left, and I in God We Trust above. And when examining for doubled die varieties, you should focus on the lettering and date. True doubled dies show clear rounded separation in the design elements created during the die hubbing process, whereas machine doubling appears flat and shelf-like and usually decreases value rather than increasing it. So use magnification and compare with verified images from reputable numismatic resources instead of relying on exaggerated social media images that claim any blur equals millions. Next, consider mint errors such as off-center strikes where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, broad strikes where the coin expands beyond its collar, clipped planchets where a curved portion is missing from the edge, double strikes where the coin was struck more than once in different positions, or wrong planchet errors where the cent design was struck on a blank intended for another denomination. These types of dramatic and obvious errors can command substantial premiums depending on severity and condition. But authentication is critical because altered coins exist and some individuals attempt to create fake errors by cutting, filing, or otherwise damaging common coins. Seniors and retirees should be especially cautious about unsolicited offers or buyers demanding upfront fees. Always consult reputable coin dealers affiliated with professional organizations or submit the coin directly to a respected third-party grading service for evaluation. Now let us discuss composition and weight because 1961D cents were struck in bronze composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc with a standard weight of approximately 3.11 grams. If your coin weighs significantly outside normal tolerance, it may have environmental damage, heavy corrosion, or in rare circumstances could represent a wrong planchet error. But accurate digital scales are necessary and small variances are normal. Copper cents from this era are heavier than the copper-plated zinc cents introduced in 1982. So weight can help confirm authenticity of metal type. Now let us build a realistic value ladder so you understand where your 1961D cent might fall. At the base are worn circulated brown examples worth 1 cent. Next are lightly circulated coins worth only a few cents. Then uncirculated red coins in grades like MS63 or MS64 that may sell for a few dollars. Above that are gem examples graded MS65 or MS66, which can bring higher premiums depending on eye appeal and demand. And then come superb gem coins graded MS67 or higher, which are far scarcer than the mintage numbers suggest because contact marks, carbon spots, and improper storage over decades reduce the number of coins that survive in pristine condition, and if population reports show only a tiny number certified at the very highest grade, registry collectors may bid aggressively to secure the finest known specimen, pushing prices to astonishing heights. Finally, at the absolute top are unique, or nearly unique mint errors or condition rarities with exceptional provenance that can create record-setting auction results. And while a figure like $48 million represents an extreme outlier scenario likely tied to an extraordinary certified coin under intense bidding competition, it is crucial to maintain realistic expectations because ordinary 1961D cents are not rare in typical grades. Now consider the historical context of 1961. America was entering a new decade filled with optimism and tension. John F. Kennedy had just taken office, the space race was accelerating, and the economy was expanding. The Denver Mint was producing coins at high speed to meet demand, and quality control processes, while strong, were not perfect, allowing occasional errors to escape into circulation. Over the decades, many high-grade coins were spent, mishandled, or stored improperly, meaning that pristine survivors are far scarcer today than raw production numbers imply. For retirees and families, this is important because a roll of 1961D cents saved in a drawer since the early 1960s could contain bright red uncirculated coins that have never been handled. And condition is everything in modern coin valuation. Examine Lincoln's cheek and jaw for contact marks. Look at the fields in front of his face for nicks. Inspect the steps and columns of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse for sharpness and clarity. Tilt the coin under light to see if full cartwheel luster remains, and check for original red color rather than brown or spotted surfaces caused by oxidation. Never attempt to clean dark toning because original surfaces are prized and cleaning leaves hairline scratches that professional graders detect immediately. Think about what even a few $1,000s could mean for a senior household, covering medical bills, replacing essential appliances, helping grandchildren with tuition, or simply providing added financial security in uncertain times. Coins may appear small and insignificant, but they are tangible pieces of American history that sometimes hold unexpected value, and beyond money they connect generations because a 1961 cent may have passed through countless hands during a transformative era in American life. So make this a careful family activity. Spread coins on a soft cloth, handle them only by the edges, repeat the checklist again, slowly confirm the date 1961, confirm the D mint mark, inspect Liberty and I in God We Trust for true rounded double die characteristics, not flat machine doubling, verify approximate weight of 3.11 grams, evaluate original luster and surface preservation, and ensure there is no evidence of cleaning or alteration. If something appears unusual, compare it with documented examples from trusted grading services and consider professional authentication before making any claims or sales decisions. Avoid online buyers promising unrealistic payouts without certification because scams often rely on excitement and urgency. Remember that true market value is determined by verified auction results and authenticated grades. Smart collecting habits include storing coins in inert holders free of PVC, keeping them in low humidity environments, labeling identified varieties accurately, and maintaining certification documents securely. As we close, I want you to pick up that 1961 penny once more and carefully examine it with knowledge rather than hype. Ask yourself, does it truly meet the criteria of rarity and exceptional condition, or is it a common circulated example? Because informed collectors make confident decisions. Share this information with your parents, grandparents, neighbors, and friends who may have old coin jars stored away. Awareness is how overlooked household assets are rediscovered. Whether the reported $48 million figure reflects a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly fueled by extraordinary bidding rivalry or a unique certified mint error with historic significance, the deeper lesson remains that education transforms ordinary pocket change into informed possibility. So double-check your jars, revisit inherited collections, and if this helped you better understand your 1961 Lincoln cents like this video, subscribe for more insights into hidden American coin treasures. And leave a comment sharing what you discovered, because your careful inspection today might inspire someone else to look twice before spending a small copper coin that could carry far more history and potential than its humble 1 cent face value suggests. Next, 1982 Lincoln penny. Stop right now and pull out every 1982 1 cent coin you can find, because there are claims that a rare 1982 Lincoln penny has reached as high as $32 million at auction. And before you assume that sounds exaggerated, I want you to immediately check your coin using this exact step-by-step checklist so you can separate an ordinary cent from a potentially valuable rarity. First, confirm the date reads 1982. Second, look under the date for the mint mark, which may be no mint mark for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. Proof issues. Third, understand that 1982 is one of the most important transition years in Lincoln cent history because the mint changed the metal composition that year from 95% copper weighing about 3.11 grams to copper-plated zinc weighing about 2.5 grams. Fourth, weigh your coin on a precise digital scale capable of measuring to 2 decimal places because weight is absolutely critical for 1982 cents. Fifth, examine the size and style of the date because there are both large date and small date varieties in 1982. And sixth, inspect the lettering Liberty and I in God We Trust for strong double die characteristics with rounded separation rather than flat machine doubling. And do not clean the coin under any circumstances because cleaning destroys original surfaces and dramatically reduces value. And I am speaking directly to American retirees, seniors on fixed incomes, long-time savers who remember the early 1980s, and families who may have jars of mixed pennies stored away for decades, because 1982 is not just another year, it is a complex and historically significant year with multiple varieties that serious collectors actively search for. So before we go any further, pause for a moment, grab your 1982 pennies, place them under bright light, and follow this checklist carefully. Confirm the date 1982. Identify the mint mark or absence of one. Weigh the coin to determine copper at about 3.11 grams or zinc at about 2.5 grams. Compare the date style to determine large date or small date. Inspect for strong true double die features, and evaluate overall condition including original luster and absence of damage, because in 1982 the United States Mint faced rising copper prices and made the historic decision to transition from the traditional bronze alloy to a copper-plated zinc core. And as a result there are 7 major business strike varieties for 1982 cents when you account for mint location, composition, and date size, and that complexity alone makes 1982 one of the most studied modern Lincoln cent years in American numismatics. Now let us ground this discussion in reality, because the overwhelming majority of 1982 pennies found in circulation are worth exactly 1 cent. Heavily worn examples with brown color, scratches, and flattened details carry no premium. Lightly circulated coins may be worth only a few cents, and even many uncirculated examples might sell for modest amounts, such as a few dollars depending on condition. So where do extraordinary price claims come from? In rare cases a coin can achieve astonishing auction results when it combines extreme rarity, exceptional condition, documented authenticity, and intense collector demand, and in registry set competition where advanced collectors strive to own the finest known example of every variety. Bidding wars can escalate prices far beyond typical expectations, but it is essential to understand that such outcomes apply only to specific certified coins with verified characteristics, and not to the average 1982 penny in your change jar. Now let us break down why 1982 is so important, because during the transition from copper to zinc blanks were used at different times at different mints, resulting in both copper and zinc versions from Philadelphia and Denver. And additionally both large date and small date punches were used, meaning you must identify not only the mint mark and weight but also the style of the numerals in the date. The large date variety shows thicker, more evenly spaced numerals with the 2 having a more curved base and the 8 appearing balanced, while the small date has thinner numerals with the 2 featuring a sharper angle and the 8 appearing slightly higher and more delicate. Comparing side-by-side examples under magnification can help. And serious collectors often keep reference images from reputable grading services to distinguish them accurately. The most famous and valuable regular strike variety is the 1982 Denver small date struck on a copper planchet weighing about 3.11 grams, because very few are known and it was initially believed that no small date copper cents were struck at Denver, making authenticated examples extremely rare and highly sought after. This specific combination of D mint mark, small date style, and copper weight is the key. So if you have a 1982 D cent you must weigh it carefully. If it weighs around 2.5 grams it is the common zinc version, but if it weighs around 3.11 grams and has the small date style you may have something extraordinary. However, authentication by a major grading service is absolutely necessary, because altered coins exist and some individuals plate zinc coins or modify dates in attempts to deceive buyers. And whenever headlines mention figures like $32 million, it is often tied to a unique specimen with exceptional grade and provenance under intense bidding competition, not to every similar coin. So maintain realistic expectations while staying alert to genuine possibilities. Now let us discuss condition, because even a rare variety must be in strong condition to command top value. Examine Lincoln's hair detail above the ear, check the cheek and jawline for contact marks. Inspect the fields in front of the face for nicks and carbon spots. Tilt the coin under light to observe full cartwheel luster, which indicates minimal handling, and on the reverse check the Lincoln memorial steps and columns for sharpness. Copper coins from 1982 may show red, red-brown, or brown color designations depending on how much original mint color remains, and full red examples are generally more valuable than brown ones in similar grades. Zinc coins often develop bubbling or corrosion if exposed to moisture, because the zinc core reacts when the thin copper plating is compromised. So surface integrity matters greatly, and once again never attempt to clean a coin, because even gentle rubbing leaves microscopic scratches that graders can detect instantly. Now let us build a realistic value ladder so you can place your coin in context. At the bottom are worn circulated zinc or copper examples worth face value. Next are lightly circulated coins worth only small premiums. Then uncirculated coins graded MS63 to MS65 worth a few dollars to perhaps a few dozen dollars depending on variety and demand. Above that are high-grade gems such as MS66 or MS67 which are scarcer especially for copper planchets because storage issues often cause spotting over time. Then come rare variety combinations such as the 1982D small date copper cent which in authenticated mint state condition can command thousands or significantly more depending on grade. And finally at the absolute top are unique or finest known specimens with extraordinary eye appeal and verified authenticity that under intense bidding rivalry may achieve astonishing auction results. And while $32 million represents an extreme outlier scenario likely fueled by registry competition and singular status, the deeper truth is that only a microscopic fraction of surviving coins would ever approach such levels. Now consider the historical context of 1982. America was experiencing economic transition. Inflation pressures had driven up copper prices to the point where the metal value of the cent approached or exceeded its face value, forcing the mint to adopt a cheaper zinc core with copper plating. This marked a significant turning point in modern coinage, and because the transition occurred mid-year, it created a fascinating array of varieties that continue to captivate collectors decades later. For retirees and families, this is especially meaningful because 1982 pennies are still commonly found in old jars and boxes. And careful sorting using weight and date style can reveal differences that most people overlook. Imagine what even a few $1,000s could mean for a senior household covering medical expenses, home repairs, or assisting grandchildren with education. Coins are tangible pieces of economic history and sometimes hold unexpected financial support. So make this a careful family activity. Spread the coins on a soft cloth. Separate them by mint mark, then by date size. Weigh each 1982D small date candidate carefully. Record the weights and compare with verified examples from reputable grading services. Handle coins only by the edges to avoid fingerprints. Store any promising pieces in non-PVC holders, and if you believe you have a rare variety, submit it directly to a major grading company rather than relying on private buyers who promise quick cash. Scammers often target seniors with urgency and exaggerated claims, so protect yourself with knowledge and professional authentication. And remember that real value is determined by documented auction results of certified coins, not by viral posts. As we approach the end, I want you to pick up that 1982 penny one more time and repeat the checklist slowly. Confirm the date 1982, identify mint mark or absence, determine large date or small date style. Weigh the coin precisely to distinguish copper at about 3.11 grams from zinc at about 2.5 grams. Inspect Liberty and Iron God We Trust for strong, true double die characteristics, not flat machine doubling. Evaluate condition for original luster and absence of cleaning. And if your coin matches the rare 1982D small date copper profile, seek professional authentication immediately. Share this knowledge with your parents, grandparents, neighbors, and friends who may have saved coins during the early 1980s, because awareness is how hidden household assets are rediscovered. Whether the reported $32 million figure reflects a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly involving the finest known specimen or an extraordinary registry battle, the enduring lesson is that education transforms ordinary pocket change into informed opportunity. So double-check your jars, revisit inherited collections, and if this guidance helped you better understand the complexity of the 1982 Lincoln cent like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into hidden American coin treasures. And leave a comment sharing what you discovered, because your careful inspection today might inspire someone else to look twice before spending a small copper-colored coin that could hold far more history and potential than its simple 1 cent face value suggests.